Welcome back into another episode of Sports Zone. The Ides of March are upon us. Don't worry, though. Nobody's plotting to murder this host. At least I don't think so. It is March. We have a great show for you today. Bryce Harper signed a record-breaking deal over in baseball. North Texas basketball keeps losing. And will LeBron and the Los Angeles Lakers miss out on the playoffs? Interesting questions. First up, though, let's welcome in Garen Shantz and Shaji Adam to the desk.
There we
Got
go.
that right. Now, guys, the biggest news coming out of this past weekend at the NFL Combine had nothing to do with 40 times or bench press reps, but it was the news of Jason Witten announcing that he would return to the Dallas Cowboys in 2019, just 1 year after retiring and spending a season as a much maligned Monday Night Football analyst. Now, guys, what do you think of Witten returning to the Cowboys?
Oh, man, you know, he's trying to rewrite his story. He wanted to go ahead and retire because he was going to go down as one of the best tight ends of all time. He still is going to go down as one of the best tight ends of all time, but just such a horrendous broadcasting career. That whole Monday Night Football crew is just horrendous. If you're watching me, ESPN, hey, a little bit of shots fired. I think you need these three guys up here. But just it was so tough to watch. Jason Witten just was hoping that he could get something going, but you know, the fact that there were so many negatives surrounding his broadcasting career, he wanted people to remember, hey, I was one heck of a football player. Let me go back. Let me go and play football one extra year, and I'm going to go be a coach for the Dallas Cowboys or for another college football team.
So do you think this had more to do with him?
This is his legacy.
So do you think this is more not so I miss football, but I don't like getting the negative responses I'm getting doing Monday Night Football.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be remembered as this goofball that broke the Pro Bowl trophy and all that stuff?
He wants to rewrite that story. It's about legacy. It's to him.
What do you think?
I think it's about both. It has to do with criticism. I mean,
he just roasted.
He roasted one of the greatest Cowboys of all time. But no, I think it has to do some with criticism. I think because his broadcasting career didn't get off to a fantastic start like Tony Romo's did, that he received a lot of criticism. I mean, was he great? No, but I think he could have gotten more reps. I think he would have gotten better. But I'm glad he's back. I think in the back of his head, he thinks this is the best time for the Cowboys to probably go and win a Super Bowl. Witten's productivity definitely declined since.
You gotta say wit.
I thought you coughed.
Monday Night Football.
Witten's definitely declined, since his prime years. He's not really the type of guy that pounded in the end zone anymore. But I think he's here as a captain. He's going to be here as a coach type. You know, Jalen Smith, all those guys tweeted, hey, welcome back, coach. He's been that type of guy that's going to influence them. Now, if it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, why not give it to Jason Witten? Because Cole Beasley's probably gone out the door right now. He's asking for $20 million. He's not worth $20 million. Then not to mention DeMarcus Lawrence. He's now probably going to sit out due to franchise tag. So you need some leaders on there to help lead this young team, especially with how much pressure Zeke and Dak have been getting. And I'm pretty sure Ezekiel Elliott's pretty happy that one of the best blocking tight ends in NFL history is back to help him.
Well, I mean, you see his stats up there. Definitely, those stats are going to be helpful to him. We'll get into the talk of the Cowboys. You know, this helps him with the NFC East. Really quick, though, Randy Gregory was announced last Tuesday that he can't participate in the Cowboys offseason program, suspended indefinitely due to the drug substance abuse. He can visit the team's practice facility to meet with an individual concerning his treatment, but nothing more. How big of a loss is Gregory for the Cowboys?
It's huge because their plans were going to be DeMarcus Lawrence on this end and Randy Gregory. And I don't know if Cowboys fans remember, but I certainly do. That second half of the 2018 season, Randy Gregory was on fire. 6 sacks. I think he was leading the team after that second half. DeMarcus Lawrence, a really hot start and then kind of cooled off. It was Randy Gregory, and that was him all season long. And I think the fact, 14 games, he's been out a couple times, but I think with the type of issues that he's had to face, it's just it's difficult to say with mental health and marijuana, and it's kind of a sticky situation to get yourself in. And the NFL still probably needs to change their rules on that drug, their drug policy and all that. But a huge loss for the Cowboys.
Do you think the loss of Gregory? Let's combine it. The loss of Gregory now, the addition of Witten. Where does this put the Cowboys in the NFC East?
I mean, I still think they're the favorites when you win, especially with how the Eagles are without Nick Foles. I don't think that fan base will be fully behind Carson Wentz because Nick Foles just has a special place in their heart. Redskins, Alex Smith is probably not going to play the 2019 season.
Could be Josh Rosen.
Yeah, but I still don't think that would be that big of a deal. I don't really see them as much of a threat. And the Giants are the Giants. I don't really see Eli Manning really doing anything because he does have an offensive line. I think the Cowboys so far are the odds-on favorites, though they do have a very difficult schedule. But looking at it, it's just another bad case for the Cowboys. It's just another person who's been suspended due to substance abuse. You had Randy Gregory, then you had David Irving. So it will be big because now DeMarcus Lawrence is going to sit. So who besides Antoine Woods is going to help, rush the quarterback? Because they were abysmal in that Rams.
Did you guys see the Cowboys adding Earl Thomas?
Oh, heck
Is
yeah.
that the answer? I set you up. There
you know
go.
what? Earl Thomas, absolutely. I was also going to mention Dorrance Armstrong, but I'm glad you mentioned Earl Thomas. I'm going to go ahead and just jump into this right now. This guy is just a spectacular player. He had 3 interceptions in 4 games. Rumors all season long, are the Cowboys going to trade for Earl Thomas? Cowboys, Seahawks, 2 interceptions, and they were just incredible. Cowboys need to add Earl Thomas, pair him with Xavier Woods.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if they add him. We'll see how the Cowboys do in the NFC East. I know you saw that Game of Thrones trailer earlier today. We're getting excited for that. 2019 looks to be phenomenal for you Game of Thrones fans, also phenomenal for you Dallas Cowboy fans. Coming up next, though, Bryce Harper's having a pretty good 2019. We'll break down his record-breaking deal next on Sports Zone.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listened.
Well, Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies agreed to a 13-year, $330 million contract last week. Now the contract ranks as the largest deal ever signed in Major League Baseball history. Let's welcome in 2 larger-than-life analysts to the desk, Brant Hermesmeyer and Kyle Harris. Now, Brant, really quick before we start, I saw on Twitter that you got told you have a flawless forehead. I have to agree. I liked it on Twitter. We're giving you the shout-out.
Well, thank you, Josh. If I have to say, yours is pretty flawless yourself.
Thank you. So moving past the Twitter conversations, what do you guys think of the Bryce Harper contract?
I think this is a good sign for the Phillies. 13 years, you said $330 million deal. This is a lot of money they're paying this guy. They're investing pretty much their entire future into him coming into a clubhouse with a lot of young, talented batters in the lineup, and also a Jake Arrieta, Aaron Nolan on the mound for them. He was a 2015 NL MVP. He was an All-Star 6 out of his 7 seasons in Washington. He has one of the most violent left-handed swings this game has ever seen. I would probably say top 3 with Barry Bonds and Josh Hamilton. So I think this is a great signing as a power hitter for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, I have a little different perspective on it. Well, he had a quote a couple hours ago I wanted to bring up before the show saying, if you don't think I'm going to call Mike Trout to come in Philly in 2020, you're crazy.
Do they have more money?
I'm sure they do. I mean, Mike Trout, hometown Phillies guy, Eagles season ticket holder, always been homegrown Phillies. But I do think the Harper deal was better for Bryce, per se, than it was for the Phillies. In the 7 seasons Bryce Harper has been in the league, he's missed a total of 207 games. That's over more than a season. And I think, last season was his healthiest year. at 159 games, but he has never played a full 162 games in the MLB. While he's been on the field, though, he's been remarkable. I mean, career batting average of 279 to go along with 184 home runs and an OPS of 900 as a career. So, I mean, as a hitter, he's one of the best outfielders in our game and one of the best left-handed bats, as you pointed out earlier. But I do think the reason he didn't take the Dodgers deal, which would have been more per year, reportedly $180 million over 4 years, is because I don't believe in 4 years he thinks he'll be healthy enough. I think he wanted as much guaranteed money as he can get for the longest period he could, but I think when he's 30, I don't think he thought he could get another max contract, which is why he took that $300 million deal over that 13-year period.
Yeah, and we had our best mathematicians on this. The contract is 13 years till 2031. That's insane. I feel like I'll be dead in 2031. This was crazy to me. Harper, in his contract, it says he gets a suite on the road, which is pretty good because you play half your games away from home.
Yep.
And he also gets the right to purchase a suite in Citizens Bank Park, which I didn't know you had to have the right to purchase a suite.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely crazy. The incentives are crazy. A World Series MVP, he gets $100,000. $500,000 if he's a league MVP. $25,000 for even being third in MVP voting. So it's just insane. Bront, you mentioned all the guys the Phillies have. You know, this is a team that now has Jake Arrieta, Aaron Nola, Maikel Franco's a pretty good third baseman, Andrew McCutchen's out there. They have a farm system ranked 10th in Major League Baseball right now. Also, Ranger fans will remember Tommy Hunter is on the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Now that they have Harper, where do you see this Phillies team going this year?
I see this Phillies team finishing above 500. They're in a competitive NL East, though, with a good Atlanta Braves team who has Acuna Jr., and some of those really, really young guys coming back. They were pretty close to the wild card last year. So with the Atlanta Braves and that entire NL East, I see them finishing over 500 and missing the wild card spot by just a couple games. I think they improve, but don't get over the hump to go to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, with as Bront mentioned, with Atlanta's young core, I think that is going to be tough to get by. They're looking really good as of late. The Miami Marlins, I don't think will do very good in the NL East. New York Mets, you can't forget about that pitching, that starting pitching of Noah Syndergaard and Jacob deGrom. I think that's going to be a big part of it. You got the Phillies, and then you got old Bryce Harper's team, the Nationals. Maybe that could have been a little reason why he chose Philadelphia. Maybe a little bit of maybe a little bit of insight on what the Nationals are going to do in their pitching staff. So I don't believe that they will lead the NL East. I think it'll be between the Mets and Nationals. I think the Braves have a couple years to go, but I think the Mets and Nationals pitching will take them over the top. But it's going to be great for the Phillies, but I don't think this plan will turn out until we see what Mike Trout's decision is going to be in 2020.
Well, we'll see. Currently, the team's, of course, right now in spring training. It's been going on for about a couple weeks here. What have you seen so far in spring training? Specifically, what have you seen from the local team, the Texas Rangers?
Have about a 500 record. Mm-hmm. It's about probably what you expect from the Texas Rangers here early.
It's not going to be a bright year,
in spring training. I mean, I don't see the Rangers making the playoffs, but they are improving. Elvis Andrus is the most important key to this team having success with Adrian Beltre retiring after the year. He's batting .556 so far in spring training. Their catcher, their former catcher now, Robinson Chirinos, got signed with the Houston Astros. So now they have like Keener Falefa. I do not know if I say
Isaiah Keener Falefa.
Yes, yeah. Isaiah Keener Falefa. He's batting .400 this spring at the catcher position, and right now with Joey Gallo, Elvis Andrus, and some of these young guys, I think their batting lineup looks good. I think the death of them again this year is going to be their pitching. I think the only consistently good pitcher they have is Cole Hamels. They signed Shelby Miller, who has shown signs of being good, but he's coming off Tommy John surgery. So I don't think their pitching rotation is ready to compete with the Houston Astros and like the Los Angeles Angels and the rest of the LA West.
We'll see what happens. Of course, the major news in Major League Baseball, 13 years for Bryce Harper. That's 13 long years, almost as long as I've been on this show. Coming up next, though, North Texas basketball continues their downslide. Sounded like the duck from Looney Tunes there. We'll discuss next on Sports Zone.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Well, North Texas men's basketball team's losing streak has grown to 6 games now, following losses to FAU and Marshall this past week. Now, both losses came at home and have dropped the Mean Green down to 9th place in Conference USA with a sub-500 conference record. Now let's welcome in two guys with an above-average conference record on this show, Josh Skinner and Jack Buckmeyer. Guys, how are we doing today?
I mean, I am doing pretty well. I haven't lost 6 straight. I've been doing great in 2K, so I'm feeling great.
And I'm wearing a little bit of orange to celebrate your Longhorns since they swept LSU this weekend in baseball.
We can just switch it up and talk college baseball for 6 minutes. But let's go back. The North Texas basketball team, of course, 2 tough losses, a 60-54 loss to Florida Atlantic, and then a loss to a Marshall team they'd already beaten this year, an 85-82 loss. Let's start with that game. This team blew a double-digit lead. They were up by 12 at halftime. What did you see in the Marshall game?
In the Marshall game, I mean, Marshall goes as the three-pointer goes. They're an outside shooting team, so if they're hot, they score a lot, like you saw this past weekend. If they're not, then you see them get blown out like North Texas did earlier in the season. When you get those big leads in college basketball, that can be difficult to protect because you kind of, maybe you take a little step back, maybe you lose a little bit of that momentum, and then Marshall comes out in the second half and just punches you in the face. I was not surprised at what happened. I was a little bit surprised by the way it happened, but losing to Marshall, I don't think any of us should be surprised the way the season's been going.
Yeah, exactly. It's just been a tale of 2 halves so far for North Texas during this losing streak. They have a great first half, and then all of a sudden they decide to throw it down the toilet in the second half. As you said, Marshall lives and dies by the three-pointer, but I mean that game, everyone was shooting, everyone was making it. They both shot over 45% from the game. It was who could shoot the last shot, and unfortunately, we were winning going to the half. Marshall went on a ridiculous run we couldn't answer, and it's just one of those where we managed to choke every single time in the second half.
And North Texas in the Marshall game, they only played 8 players, which isn't too far from the norm this time of year in college basketball, but it was the minutes that those 8 guys played. It was mostly 6 guys playing about 30 minutes or more. Do you think the lack of maybe depth is hurting this team late in games?
Depth and the lack of a Ryan Woolridge. Woolridge played earlier in the week. He didn't play on Saturday because of knee tendonitis. They warmed him up in pregame. They thought he was going to be able to go, and then he wound up not being able to play. He's the quarterback of that team, and if he can't play, well, especially something at the last minute, well, then it starts shuffling players around. People have to play more. Maybe a little bit more, hey, I have to make this shot now. I have to do this now that the normal guy isn't here. And it didn't work out well. And it's the same thing they did against Louisiana Tech a week or so ago when they blew that huge halftime lead. It's just North Texas, you got to win one, and then hopefully that ball starts rolling.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that all of a sudden Ryan Woolridge is getting hurt. Your other older players are starting to get hurt. So when they get out, you're lacking that experience that you need. You have Ryan Woolridge, Simmons, all of them are getting injured, so you're losing your closers. You don't have a closer on your team right now that can, you can pass the ball, who can get you a three-pointer anytime. So when you're lacking that, you're lacking your experienced players, so you're putting in your younger, inexperienced players in crunch time in a season. It's just unfortunate because, you're going to blow those leads like at the La Tech or the FIU game, and then against Marshall. It's just, you just have to have those experienced players, especially now when it's especially crucial in the season.
And Roosevelt Smart's regression this season has been key to that as well. You're talking about a guy who I believe is the CBI tournament MVP last year.
at the end of the season. He was putting up 35 points a game, but he was a little bit injured coming into the season. They took it slow, and he hasn't been that same player all year. And he's your big offensive scorer, and other guys just haven't been able to pick it up enough.
Yeah, Smart went 2 for 9 versus FAU in a 6-point loss, 2 for 9 from 3. Duffy, Duffy's a senior leader. Smart's obviously a junior, but Duffy shot 1 for 6 from 3. It's just a team that can't seem to find that same rhythm every game. Does it fall on the coaching at all, or is this purely a player problem?
I was going to say, I have no issue with what Grant McCasland's done. If you were
He's
here
turned
2
it
years
around,
ago,
completely.
you have no issue. A couple of things. First off, they have no size. They got to get a big inside man if they want to be able to compete with some of these better teams in Conference USA. Second off, you're talking about a team that we said this early on. When you're out of ESPN's strength of schedule had them 352nd out of 353 teams coming into conference play. You're playing St. Peter's and A&M Commerce and Angelo State. And,
I think we played Texas Women's.
Yeah, you're looking really good. Oh man, we're great. And then all of a sudden you start playing. No offense to those other schools, real Division I teams, and you start getting punched in the face. And so that's just kind of how it goes. So I think that this team is what it's been all year. They're just now playing better competition.
Do you think there's any hope going into the conference tournament a week away right here in Frisco? Do you think there's any hope for this team to maybe find some of that magic they had earlier in the year?
I mean, if Ryan Rulich can somehow join the lineup and insert that, and that magically helps them, that's great. What they need right now is a refresh. They needed this week off. They need to get all the noise, blackout all the noise. As you were saying, they were playing pretty trash teams earlier this year. When you're a 17-point favorite against Maryland Eastern Shore, you should be winning those games. But and then now they're playing real Division I talent. CUSA, is it the SEC or the AAC or the ACC? No, it is not. But they are still Division I teams. We started off number 2 in CUSA. Now we're 9th. We're now in the middle of the pack in CUSA. So hopefully Ron Rulich coming in, you're getting your players back. You're getting a healthy rest right now. Hopefully that can energize your team, or McCasland can just walk in, give one of those inspiring speeches and let them go.
Well, there's just one game left in the regular season. That's this Saturday on the road against Florida International. Coming up next, though, the Alliance of American Football. That's right, it's still a thing. We're going to take a look at it next on Sports Zone.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Well, the Alliance of American Football is now 4 weeks old, and it's already been sold for less than what Bryce Harper and Manny Machado individually signed for. Now, the league has gotten off to a solid start, with jokes aside. Rumors of the NFL already adopting some of the league's rules, such as the Sky Judge and other various rules they're doing. The AAF uses. Let's welcome in Blake Elliott and Van Malone. I think I got a little lost in the teleprompter there.
You're good.
What do you guys make of this new league so far?
I really like it. I really like what they're doing. What I love is the timing. It's coming just after the NFL season. It's kind of in that monotony in the NBA season. It's right in between. Hockey's kind of coming in and baseball's starting up. So I really, really like the timing, especially.
I think it really helps that the Super Bowl was kind of a dull one, and people are kind of looking for what can I get that excitement post NFL league, and this is what the AAF is really bringing. As you said, it was great timing, and you see there's only 8 teams, so there's no dynasties. There's no are the Patriots going again. So there's just kind of something for people to look forward to.
Who stood out so far? You know, I looked at the notable players, and for me, the only guy that I was like, you know, I remember watching this guy in college was Garrett Gilbert. Garrett Gilbert's been phenomenal this year. Just looking at his stats. Who stood out to you?
That's the man, Garrett Gilbert, and they're actually the entire Orlando Apollo team. You look at the records; they're kind of 1-3, 2-2, but the Apollo are 4-0, only perfect team. Garrett Gilbert has been balling. He leads the AAF with 1,000 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. He's number 2 in touchdowns. And Charles Johnson, their receiver, has also been balling out. He's number 1 in catches, number 1 in yards, and number 1 in yards per catch with a minimum of 10 catches. So with those 2 guys, they've been propelling the offense. Steve Spurrier, the head coach, he's been out there balling, showing that, hey, he still got it for the old guy. And really, that team has really separated themselves, with the among the other teams.
I personally think this is also a great league for the NFL. I think they obviously are competing, but at the same time they're working towards each other. As this AAF kind of works as like a AAA for baseball in the football league. So people that kind of fall out of favor in the NFL, there might be guys that had drug problems, criminal problems, maybe didn't perform well on the field. There's not just you fall out the league. This is kind of something to fall back onto and something to kind of rehabilitate players back into the NFL, or maybe college players that didn't get that chance, and it's kind of their stepping stone to get there.
Yeah.
With the league adopting some of the rules already, do you see this league taking some of these players? Maybe Garrett Gilbert gets signed as a free agent to come start for a team. Do you see that happening? Do you think those type of players will still stay in this league?
I think they'll stay in the league. Maybe they'll go to Canada. Maybe they'll go to arena football. There are a lot of these NFL GMs and scouts. They understand that this is not the talent of the NFL. Maybe it was before NFL talent, or maybe these guys maybe have potential of NFL talent. It'll be tough. You have to be like dominant in your league, similar to how Kurt Warner was dominant in his arena football league, or was it Canadian? I believe it was arena football. He was like dominant, won MVPs, won championships, and got a chance in the NFL. And even though still he was working at a Walmart or whatever.
So he brings up arena football. Obviously, that league's defunct now. Do you see the AAF staying viable as a league, staying successful? I mean, it's already been sold. Do you see it sticking around for the long term?
I 100% see it sticking around. It's something that's different from the NFL. This is a very fan-heavy league. There's actually no TV timeouts, so while the game is going on, if a commercial comes up, it'll be in the top right corner, and you can still see the game. And there's also everybody's pretty much mic'd up when it comes to like coaches, referees, some players, so that we don't have another New Orleans Saints and Los Angeles Rams debacle within the refs where we're like, what's going on behind the scenes? We don't know if it's foul play. That kind of stuff doesn't happen now. As I said, the play clock is at 30 now. This is very fast-paced. There's less penalties that are being called, so there's not just games where they're going to 50, 60, as we're seeing some of these NFL games. These are really, some of them, unless they're playing the Apollo, are close games, and they're really competitive. There's a lot of rules I think the NFL will adopt, kind of like they have just 1 foot in bounds, kind of like the NCAA, and you might see the NFL go to that. There's a lot of, catch, what is a catch, what's not now going on.
I think the coolest thing is that they show the replay review judge actually going through, and they're like, I need to see that again. This is pretty easy. If the NFL does that and just has full transparency, maybe there's reasons the NFL right now doesn't want to have the full transparency.
And we're glad kickoffs are gone.
The onside kick?
The onside kick.
So
that's one of my personal favorites of the league. There is no onside kick where you might be asking, what if I want to keep the ball? What if we just scored? It's a close game. If it's in the last 5 minutes of the game or you're down 17 points, you can actually go for a 4th and 12 from your own 28-yard line. If you convert it, you get to keep the ball, keep going. If you don't, high risk, high reward. You're going to give the ball to the other team in great field position.
So Orlando wins it? One word.
Oh yeah.
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Oh, chill out.
Texas representing.
All right. Well, that's it here for us on the TV side today. For those of you watching on ntTV, we'll be back in 2 weeks at the same time. But if you want to jump on our YouTube channel at ntTV Sports right below us, you can find it. We will be continuing the show today for another 5-minute bonus block. We're going digital. Make sure to switch over there right now to keep watching, or stay on it if you're already watching us on YouTube. Goodbye to our ntTV viewers. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll see the rest of you in a couple minutes after the break.
How's your hair? Is it pretty?
Daddy.
It's pretty.
Maybe I'll
Oh, emojis. I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls. Just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you.
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go. Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Jane!
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome into our first ever YouTube-only bonus block. A super special occasion calls for a super special analyst, Brittany Johnson. How you doing, Brittany?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. You know who's not doing well? The Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James is at risk of missing the NBA playoffs for the first time since his second year in the NBA. That was back in 2005. Now Lakers sit on the wrong side of the playoff picture, and LeBron has placed the blame on his younger teammates for not being focused enough. But hey, The Shop is pretty good on HBO, right? And that 2 Chainz album was pretty good that LeBron got to listen to early. But yeah, it's the young kid's fault. Now, let's go to that. Whose fault is it that the Lakers aren't doing well?
Honestly, I think it's everybody's fault. Now, I understand where LeBron is coming from because it's like the team, you do need to pick it up. Like, we all see LeBron, the all-star, the guy, the man in charge, but you need that backup. So if I'm passing you guys the ball, if I'm getting it to you and we're trying to make things work here, I need you to help me out and, you know, put in so we can be successful because one player can't do it by themselves. We see it wasn't really working in Cleveland. That didn't work. And now it's like we're seeing this cycle all over again in the Lakers. And, you know, it's kind of bad.
What do you think? Because I thought the best thing I saw on Twitter when I woke up this morning was the video of Kyle Kuzma literally pushing LeBron into position to try to guard the three-point defender. There was another video, I don't know if it was from last night's game or one before, where it was LeBron and he was mad at Rondo, but it was a video of LeBron not playing defense. What do you think about just kind of the balance of the chemistry on this team right now?
I think the chemistry is definitely down spiraling, and I'm glad you pointed that out because it's like, as the team leader, you can't get out of your element because you're worried about the other teammates. You have to continue to motivate them, continue to make sure that they're on their game, but you have to be on yours as well. Because defense is definitely important. You know, from being a basketball player myself, defense wins you games, hands down, wash it, dry it, you know? So if you're not playing defense, what are you contributing to the team as well as the star player? So I just feel like the chemistry is just off. It's kind of pointing fingers here and there. And I know there's also a lot of business issues going on with the Los Angeles Lakers, you know, with the whole trade thing. So I think that's kind of overwhelming everybody as well. But altogether, they just need to pick it up.
Do you think they make the playoffs? They're sitting right now, I think they're at the 10th seed as of this morning.
Yeah,
Can they get in possibly?
They're a little low. I think that it's a possibility, but it's definitely going to be hard. I think getting to the playoffs is probably the best accomplishment that the Los Angeles Lakers can make at this point.
Okay.
Like anything further, I'm not seeing it.
Let's go to one team that's in the playoffs, but they're not happy with where they're at right now. Right now, currently the 5th seed, we're talking about the Boston Celtics. They have lost 3 of their last 10 games, lost 3 and 7 in their last 10 games. They've lost 5 of their last 6, including a loss to the Chicago Bulls. What's wrong with the Boston Celtics?
Boston they're just out of their element. Like, I don't know what's going on, and that's for both of these teams. Like, there's some kind of disease in the NBA, and it has definitely
No one's happy in the NBA.
Exactly. It's definitely hit these two teams. Like, we need to get some Robitussin or something for them because, like, I don't know. And it's like the stir-up, Kyrie's frustrated, the team, and I heard that it's just very toxic from what many sources say on the team. It's very toxic and it's not the same. It's very awkward. And they have all the talent in the world. They're more than capable of, you know, dominating, and they're more than capable of getting to the playoffs and doing what they're supposed to do. So I just think that they need to find that outlet and see what is it that's working for us. We need to elaborate on that because they're more than capable. They have a great coach. He's great at what he does. You know, Irvin is spectacular, as well as a lot of young people that are already on the team, you know, and then Hayward coming back from his injury from last year. Like, we have a lot to look forward to, and I just feel like they need to just
Do you think they can gel together back in time to make a finals run?
I think they can. Okay. Honestly, for Celtics, I think they'll be fine. Lakers, I'm not for sure. But Celtics, they definitely have the right elements to apply themselves right now, and they can come back. And definitely if they make the playoffs, I believe they'll be fine.
Well, it looks like Kyrie learned the most from LeBron with his leadership skills, with the way those two locker rooms seem broken right now. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us on Bonus Time. Thank you for everybody for coming on the show today, and thanks to everybody behind the scenes as well for making it all happen. Make sure to follow us on YouTube. You're already here if you're watching this still. We're taking a week off, though, so don't watch us next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.